Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's energy update for the week of April 23rd through to April 30th. My name is Rebecca Meisel, and welcome. I'm very excited to get to our themes this week. We have lots in store. As a lot of us know, if you've been keeping up with the astrology that's been going on recently, we have officially entered Mercury retrograde. And we're definitely seeing that reversal come in this week. We're really seeing that planetary alignment come into play this week, which is so fantastic. And to start off this reading, I just want to clear up that Mercury retrograde is nothing to fear. It's really just this amazing opportunity for a lot of us to reflect, have some time to go inward and see what is really working for us and what's not working for us in our current reality. So this week, that's definitely coming forward for us to look further into and take a deeper dive into. So with our first theme that came up this week was very, very apt considering where we are in this current time, which is cleaning out the closet. So this could very well be literally, or it could very well be, figuratively. But what's really coming forward for us this week is to rid ourselves of anything that is no longer serving. And one of the biggest things that I kept seeing was like that analogy of the skeleton in the closet. So it's like whatever we've been hiding, whatever we've been holding on to, it's time to expose, it's time to release, to throw away, to clear, and to really let go of this week. So really take an analysis of where you are currently. Is there anything that you're still harboring? Is there anything that you're still embarrassed by or have been hiding from others in your life? Is there any secrets that need to come to light? Is there anything that we have hidden from ourselves or others for shame? Right? So a lot of us this week are needing to go inward and do that self-assessment. Is there anything that needs to come through? Is there anything that I need to be honest about? And what was really coming forward here was this awareness of how it's time to be free. So if there's anything currently in your life that you are feeling ashamed of or holding on to or harboring, whether that is shame or guilt for even just being yourself, a lot of this is coming up for movement this week. So releasing them. And as I say movement, it's really interesting. They show me the chakra system and the energy literally moving through the chakras. So releasing them out from your body, out from your energy centers where perhaps we've harbored this guilt or this shame or this these secrets or these things that we no longer need to maintain. And we're really being called to do this release work this week. So I'm seeing a lot of energy clearing be extremely helpful. And even if you're clearing your house, if you're removing, clutter or things that no longer resonate for you, I'm even seeing be mindful of clearing your space. So keep that in mind as you start doing this release work. And as we move into more of this theme of deep cleaning and clearing out our closets, really be mindful of maintaining this authenticity. So what they were kind of showing me with this theme this week is bearing in mind where we have been holding on or harboring certain identities that no longer are us, that are no longer ourselves. And in this way, it can come on so subtly as we shift and as we change. Sometimes we don't realize that we've actually become an entirely different person than who we were before. And so this week, they're actually bringing in this awareness of being honest and being genuine about who we are now. So this might entail some removal of false identities, removal of false pretenses. Where are we still trying to cater to others as if we were the old version of ourselves? Or where are we still trying to protect others, perhaps, from who we are now? And how can we start coming into the truth that who we are is awesome, is wonderful, is deserving of love and unconditional love, that there's no need to hide who we are or temper who we are or edit who we are on the behalf of others' comfortability. So they're showing me this example there where we're still tippy-toeing around others. We're still trying to cater, or we're still trying to put on this front that this is who we are, when in reality, that's not who we are deep down. And so this week, we're being called to take out those skeletons, take out and clear the secrets, the things that we might not even be aware are really secrets we're keeping, or harboring, right? So a lot of this can be very subtle. And so this week, we're actually being called to do this deeper introspection and go, okay, what are even the subtle ways that I am pretending? Where I'm not being authentic, where I'm not being upfront about who I am. And then we can go into this a little deeper, where we're not going to shame ourselves for this. We're not going to feel bad for doing this. We're being human. This is what happens. But we're going to go in and go, okay, so now I can pinpoint these areas in my life where I am feeling uncomfortable, or where I am editing and I'm not being true to me. And we can make that change, and we can learn from former lessons in our lives and take that knowledge and learn those lessons fully. And this is the opportunity that we're being given this week. And by Mercury retrograde, it's a real gift. And with that, it's like we're coming into this confidence. We're claiming our power back and going, okay, I can bolster myself up now. And, continuing that theme from last week of being your own best friend, this is what we're being called to do. It's like, I can do this. I can tell people who I am now. It's safe for me to reveal all my light and all of what I'm capable of. And it's like allowing yourself to comfort yourself throughout this process, to give yourself the grace as you move through these new challenges. And it might actually be a challenge to be fully transparent at where you're at with other people, or where you are in your life. So they're showing me someone as an example who's perhaps done something that, they know their loved one wouldn't approve of. And you've hidden it, and you've kept it deep, deep in your heart. But it's actually something you shouldn't be ashamed of. It's something that you personally really resonate with. It's something that you are. It's a part of who you are. But you've had this almost this layer of guilt surrounding it, where it's like, if I show this quality of myself with this person, I just don't think they're going to understand. If I am transparent with them and say, look, this is what I actually want to do, or this is actually, something that is special to me, you might feel judged for that, right? So it's like taking a real deep look at those fears involved and going, okay, how can I love myself so much and realize that I'm so deserving of doing what I want to do in my life, that I'm not going to allow that to sabotage my greatness. I'm not going to allow my fear to sabotage what I need to do in this life, even if I love someone immeasurably, even if I want them to love me and have a specific view of me. I have to recognize that how they feel is not my responsibility. My responsibility is to be the most authentic version of myself. What I owe myself is to be all of me. And that is what real, true, unconditional love is. And that's what you deserve. So we're getting these reminders this week where it's like, allow yourself to gracefully move through this. Where are you still feeling ashamed for being who you are? Where are you not authentically expressing your truth? Where are you hiding parts of yourself to become more accepted by others in your life? And how can we start moving through this? How can we start releasing that fear, releasing the hurt? And as I say this, it's like so much in the heart chakra where it's painful, it's hurtful, and it's almost like I just want to be loved as I am. I just wish people could see me as I am and be accepted as I am. And this is so hurtful for a lot of us. A lot of us carry this wound of feeling like we're not enough, of feeling like we're going to be judged if we are just who we are. But this is the world that we're creating, is this new world where we are going to be accepting of others, where we are going to be free to be ourselves. So to do that, we have to get real. We have to get honest, and we have to start being transparent. It starts with us. We can't expect others to do this if we don't do it ourselves. So absolutely beautiful advice coming through to be transparent, to be honest, and to free ourselves. And this is very liberating, okay? Very, very liberating. Now, a little side note, they're just kind of bringing this in. It's like, but be mindful of your anger. So with that, it's like, when we come to that wound, that we're not enough, it's very, very easy and very human of us to jump into anger and how this is unfair, how this is not just, that we've felt that we've needed to suppress ourselves. And maybe others have actually brought forward that wound in you. So we're needing to be aware of where we're judging that, where we're placing blame, and how, when we are doing this introspective work, as we start healing the wound, we're going with that intention to free ourselves, not make ourselves more angry, not to reignite the wound and the injustice. We're moving forward with this pure ambition and pure intention to heal this. So how can you remember we're all one? Even those who have hurt you, they've taught you something. They've brought value to your life. And we're going in with this different perspective. So really, really be mindful of that this week, because Mercury retrograde is going to be bringing up the shadows. It's going to be bringing up what's not working for you, what's no longer worthy of you. And sometimes that's even our own behaviors. It's even the way we view things or feel things. And it's not wrong. It's valid. Absolutely feel how you feel. But we're going with that intention to heal this now. We don't want to keep bringing the cycle forward. We don't want to keep rehurting ourselves or rehashing the past. So side note here, be very mindful. Where am I holding on to judgment? How can I move in as an observer in my life and really get that clarity that's necessary? And they're really bringing forward this point that this is all for our highest good. This is a blessing in disguise. And once more, don't be hard on yourself. If you have fear, if you're upset, if you're emotional and sensitive, we need to feel those things. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. But when we move through that and when we come out the other side, we want to come to that awareness of, this is a blessing. This is happening for me so I can free myself. It's absolutely beautiful. And as a result, what I'm really seeing and what's absolutely amazing is we're completing soul contracts and we're learning our lessons that we've come here to learn. When we do this work, when we are honest, when we are fully in our authenticity, we're closing off these chapters of when we were not. We're putting an end. We're closing the door. We're learning our lesson. And it's absolutely beautiful. So what I actually heard and what channeled through was this chapter is now closed. Closed, not is closing, it's closed. Period. And that is so exciting. So the work that we're doing is really, really amazing, and it's making an impact. So really be mindful. Take assertive action this week to really go in and do a bit of that inner introspection and really be mindful. Where am I being inauthentic and how can I change this narrative? Absolutely amazing. So with this, I'm seeing some of us are going to need to use our voice this week. Some of us are needing to communicate. We're needing to let people know where we're at, who we are now. So be very mindful of how you communicate this week, how you want to present this new version of yourself out into the world now, and claim yourself and claim your abundance. So what I wrote here was take the leap, leave nothing unsaid. There is nothing to be ashamed of. You are who you are now. Stand in your authenticity. So it's absolutely amazing. And what came in right after this was be careful not to compare. Okay. So as you move into your authenticity, it's very easy to look around you and go, oh, well, this person's doing that, or this person's doing what I'm doing, but better. And we tend to compare ourselves. Okay. So as we're on this journey, be very mindful. Do not compare yourself. Okay. So what I wrote here was no more bending your ear to what others say, to others' opinions. You are here to be you. Stop comparing yourself. So to help us with this, they're actually giving us key things to do for us to bolster self-confidence. So what I was really seeing is like put maybe even a timer on your social media, have strict boundaries with what accounts you are looking at, what information you are purposely taking in each day, and really recognizing the effects that has on your mental health. Okay. The other thing I'm seeing is sticky notes. So what they showed me was sticky notes all over the house with positive affirmations, saying something to remind you of how wonderful you are, that gives you a confidence boost, utilizing those mantras every single day to replace any negative self-talk. So what they were saying was morning affirmations, utilizing sticky notes, and monitoring your self-talk. So really be mindful. How am I speaking to myself? Where am I comparing in my life? And how can I stop this form of competition? So the other thing they were kind of bringing up is like, if there's a certain gift that you are leaning into right now, if there's a certain field that you are leaning into, be very, very mindful of comparing there as well. So where are you feeling like you are in competition? Where do you feel like you need to be on top? Where are you feeling like this pressure to compete? And if that comes in this week, really remind yourself, cooperation over competition. Right? So it's like, how can I remember we are all one? We all have divine abundance. We all have a right to claim abundance in our lives. And that doesn't mean that there's limits on that. Doesn't mean there's only limits on that abundance. Everybody has access to abundance. Everybody has their personal journey. And each of us is very much deserving of our own abundance. There's enough for everybody. So really be mindful. Where are you limiting yourself? Where are you comparing yourself? And where are you bolstering a spirit of competition instead of oneness? So step back into that oneness aspect and really get real with yourself. So once again, we're needing to be honest. Okay, where am I really at? Where is my mind going? Where am I purposely putting my energy? And then making those course corrections as needed. Okay, so really, really beautiful. So then we move into further release work, a lot around past drama, resentments, and shame. Okay, so these are themes that are going to come up this week, and we really need to be mindful where we start dipping into them. So we need to start accepting the human condition. So I'm feeling this week we're going to have a lot of things come up from our past that are going to revisit for a reason. And as we go through these past memories, these past hurts or wounds, we're really being mindful to dig deeper, to go beneath the surface and see, okay, what about this is still bothering me? What about this is still irking me in my life? And where has this become an established theme? Okay, so once again, we're needing to get honest. what is still bothering me, and where am I ready to let go and heal. So moving into this acceptance of the human condition, I'm seeing a lot of forgiving come in this week. And this acceptance really goes hand in hand with forgiveness, because we're starting to realize that perhaps the people who have hurt us in our past, perhaps that was all for a reason. And we're getting this larger, broader perspective where it's like, oh, maybe I actually had a soul contract with this person, with this individual, or maybe I actually needed this event in my life to help spark my own inner resilience, or to help me see or learn something that was necessary for me to learn. And we're coming to this deeper awareness that we don't need to take the events of our past personal any longer. And when we hit that point, it's so freeing. It's amazing. It transforms our whole way of thinking, our whole ways of viewing where we've come from. And it helps us release and cut away all the heaviness, all the baggage that we've been carrying from our past. And it helps us understand that, wow, maybe life literally is like a movie. Maybe we're all here with our assigned roles so we can learn, so we can experience. And maybe that means on the other side, the soul who hurt me in this life was really just playing that part to help me learn, to teach me something that is required of me to learn. And we're having this larger awareness that really frees us from the resentment, from the hurt, from those wounds. And at the very least, coming to this understanding of where people are in their journey and how right now we're all just being human. We're all trying to figure life out. None of us are perfect. None of us are here to be perfect. So how can we once again come back to love, come back to oneness, and free ourselves of the past hurt and free ourselves of that baggage? And this translates very heavily into this aspect of shame. So once more, they're kind of giving me this example around sexuality. So a lot of us have been taught from the past and from perhaps how we've been raised that sex isn't okay, that sex is dirty, or there's a shame that's associated with our bodies or our sexuality. And we're seeing this shift quite a bit in more recent times. But if you've been coming from those other generations, or you've been influenced by those other generations, we still could be carrying those aspects within us. And once again, they're highlighting the chakra system. So some of us might not even be aware that we're harboring shame around this. So one of the biggest things they wanted to be brought to our attention this week is how we feel about our bodies. How do we feel when we are intimate? And to really be mindful of how you feel in those moments. And there was a large emphasis on our emotional state, because we need to start coming home to that truth as opposed to just knowing or having that logic there. So we'll use the example here where we logically will know, okay, sex is not worthy of shame. Maybe you even have that belief system where it's like, no, I'm an empowered individual. I don't need to feel shame for being sexual or for being who I am. But within our chakras or within our innermost selves emotionally, we might actually be telling a different story. So this week, we're actually needing to go in and be honest once again about how we feel, even if we hold the truth logically in our minds. What is your body saying? What is your emotional state saying about this specific topic, this specific area in your life? So some of the best ways to tell is going in and listening to those emotions. So when you are intimate, or when you are naked, or you see yourself in your full vulnerability, how do you feel? Is there a denial of your beauty? Is there a denial of yourself? Is there a denial of receiving pleasure? Where are we still holding on to old narratives, to old beliefs that are outdated, that no longer resonate? And so they're showing me this shift that's needing to start happening for us to fully be in alignment with ourselves, and to enabling us to fully embrace our bodies. That is what's needed. We're needing to fully embrace every aspect and our full authenticity. So that means we can't just love our bodies in the future. That doesn't mean, well, after I lose weight, then I'll love myself. No, we're needing to love ourselves right now, wherever you are in your journey. And with that comes in this true awareness of where we really are. So if we're not in love with ourselves, how can we get to that point where we do? So the first thing that's really coming up is eliminating that shame. So we might have to admit, okay, I do feel shamed for my body, or for being intimate, or because of my past, or because of what other people's opinions have taught me, what society has taught me. So it's like admitting that, going, okay, yeah, there's shame there. And really listening to where that has collected and stored in your energetic body. So this week we're being reminded, check in. What is your body saying? Are you having issues in the sacral chakra, the root chakra? Where has this shame manifested? And where is it crying for your attention? So how can we start reshaping our belief systems to come to full authenticity, to come to that point where this is me, and I love me, and I'm proud to be me in all areas of my life? So it's really, really beautiful. This week we're dispelling everything that no longer serves, that no longer is true to you, and it's truly inspiring. So from there, we have this gorgeous heading of embracing your gifts. So once again, we're really leaning into every area of life, and it's really cool how this reading worked out. So where are we needing to embrace ourselves more fully and our natural capabilities? And what channeled was, you are so much more than you think. And I almost want to say you are so much more than you give yourself credit for. So how often are we allowing ourselves to embrace what we're good at? How often do we partake in what we're talented in? And do we really embrace it? So what channeled here was, stop letting fear sabotage your growth. You don't need to be right. You don't need to be perfect. Relax into the process and let the process unfold. So they're giving this example of someone who's doing a project, and they know that this is what they're meant to be doing, but they're nitpicking it, and they're reviewing it, and they're editing it, and they're changing it, and they're making all these corrections because it's constantly never enough. And it's like, when can we come to that point where it's like, I'm enough, the way I create is enough, and the way I do things is beautiful. And we no longer need to compare ourselves or make ourselves adjust to societal standards. And it's coming to this freedom of expression, this freedom to be you in your authentic glory. And it's like removing the need for perfection, right? So what really was channeling was relax into the process, right? Let things flow and unfurl for you as it's meant to, and trust your own ability, trust your talent, embrace those gifts because they've been given to you for a reason. You have these desires to move forward for a reason. So know that if you were someone, you're a creator and you're working on a project right now, remove that pressure from yourselves, remove the standards that you've put on yourself, and let go of the need to be perfect, because just be perfectly you. Be perfectly you, because that is enough. That is who you are meant to be. Create on your terms, live life on your terms. And if you do, you're going to be amazed at what starts happening. So a side note from this, what really wanted to come in is also accept help. So if you're unsure of how to move forward in your gifts, if you're unsure of what your gifts are, the advice that came through was to ask for help, reach out to others around you, gain the confidence that you need, allow yourself to be boosted by those who love you. And I believe this was a theme that came up last week or the week before. But yeah, very, very highlighted was get encouraged, get inspired, let others boost your energy. So that was the beautiful advice that came through as well. So be mindful in this process. There was a bit of a warning here to not take on too much this week. So we have a lot going on. We have a lot that wants to come to the surface, and we need to be patient with ourselves. We need to give ourselves the grace. We need to give ourselves breaks along the way. So don't get lost in all the work you have to do, or you're feeling the pressure to complete. Everything will happen just as it should. So trust the process. Okay. So lots of healing, lots of things happening. Now with this, we're getting this encouragement to practice self-love and care. And I know we hear this term a lot, but what really hit me was practice. Okay. Doesn't mean you have to be perfect at it. Doesn't mean that you have to conquer self-love this week. It just means practice. Okay? And so what I loved about this word, that really came through, it really struck me. It's like, yeah, like practice it. It doesn't mean it's got to be perfect. It doesn't mean we have to have it all figured out. So what I was hearing is, as much as you can, practice loving yourself. So whether that's through those morning affirmations, whether it's from mirror work, maybe it's from, investing in yourself, doing things that make you feel good, that is all very encouraged this week. Little things that add up to one big thing. These little steps that make one big step. And that is what we're being encouraged to do. So what little things can you start implementing in your daily life that make you feel good, that make you feel loved, that show appreciation for yourself and your body? And how can you start really making that plan to follow through on those things every single day? So once again, they're showing me a list here of our priorities. What's on the top of your list? If it's not you, then we need to reevaluate. So they're really saying, what are those activities? What are those things you can do? And simple things, doesn't have to be big. So they're showing me someone getting their hair done. They're showing me someone who's taking a bath, someone who is reading a book. Like those things are self-care. Those things, if that's what you enjoy doing and that's what makes you feel good, then that is participating in self-love. So really allow yourself to do that and focus on building confidence. So what truly matters to you? What do you want to start focusing on? So this really goes into our bigger goals and aspirations as well. It's like, check in with yourself. Do I have a direction that I'm putting my energy? And is it funneled to what's really loving for me? So I love this question that Teal Swan always poses, and I read it in one of her books. I'm trying to remember which one it was, but what would someone who loved themselves do? And I've quoted it a few times, but it's truly inspiring. When we actually ask ourselves that question, it makes things clear. It makes things so clear. If you loved yourself, what would you do? If there were no obstacles at this time, what would be the first thing I would do? And it really gives us that clarity of where we want to move forward. So this exercise we're being called to do this week. So if you are facing challenges, if you're like, oh my goodness, I don't think I can achieve my goals. It seems so out of my realm of possibility. It doesn't seem likely. It's like, okay, well, what can I do? If I loved myself and I know that this is what I want to do, what's the step I would take? And it's like, then start getting creative, then start problem solving. Okay, what's a small step I can take in that direction? What is it I can do? And to trust, because there's so many things that we don't really see in our spectrum of possibility, but is there. How often in our lives do we get a surprise that comes in and changes our whole perspective? How often does the universe come in and go, oh, well, here's a way you could do it that we never thought of, right? So it's like, be open this week to all the possibilities. Be open this week to what can actually happen for you. And the more we do that, the more we step into self-love and self-empowerment. So we're being called to ask, where can you stand more in your power, and where can you stand more in your authenticity? So this also channeled through in our concerns of health. So if there's anything that has been coming forward in that area of your life, once again, they're bringing awareness to the chakras. They're bringing awareness to that question, where am I standing when it comes to my power and authenticity? Where are my health challenges stemming from buried emotions and core wounds that I haven't acknowledged or have been ignoring or haven't seen yet? And how can we take that responsibility to go deeper, to start liberating ourselves and stop suppressing the truth? So I'm really seeing a lot of health concerns that have manifested from needless worry, from mental health. So that's what they're really showing me this week. So be very, very mindful. Where am I in my mental health? Where am I needlessly worrying? Where am I stuck in a pattern of fight or flight? Where do I need to take better control, better care of myself? And what small steps can you do? If that's overwhelming, well, set a goal. Meditate 5 minutes a day. Touch your body, feel your body. Where do you hurt? Where do you feel not well? How can you picture sending love to that space? How can you hold that space and ask it what knowledge it has for you, what it's trying to tell you? How can we approach our health with love without worrying? And if you're worried, how can you remove the fear? Can you make that doctor's appointment? Can you go and get further information that can free you from the worry? So what really came through was all is well. Recognize your body is communicating. Take its messages. Don't read too deep. But your mental health comes first. So this is really, really coming forward. Where are we saying yes to things where we need to say no? Where are we not prioritizing our mental and physical health? And really be mindful. If you know something is too much, then it's time to put in those boundaries. Okay, so be very mindful. So the hugest takeaway from this theme was ease your mind. Release fear. Continually tell yourself, all is well. Continually take control where you can. And remember that we really perpetuate the energy we focus on. So focus on love. So lastly, our theme for the week is spiritual connections. So what I really saw was coming up very strongly was these beautiful energies of our guides this week, our ancestors, our soul friends, all coming in to support us. So be very mindful this week of your spiritual connections. What guides, what energies have you been feeling, and how can you start making that effort to hear their messages, to listen to what they have to say, to connect with them, and to let yourself be led this week. So it was absolutely beautiful with this. So what came through was heed their advice. They have your best interests at heart. So some of these messages that we get this week, they might be jarring. They might be this illumination to the truth that perhaps we haven't wanted to see about ourselves or about our lives. But what we're being asked to do is once again, come to that truth, come to that inner knowing that this is all coming forward for us to liberate us, to help us see things as they are, and where we can start taking that power back and live a life authentically, not based in lies, not based in illusion, but in true honesty. And that really is the most loving thing for us to do, is to be able to be all of us in this world and to remove those fears, those societal conditionings and programs that have said otherwise. So whatever comes through this week, whatever spiritual downloads you get, whatever illumination comes through, know that it is the most loving thing for you. Your guides love you. They want the best for you. So tap into that love this week. So my friends, that is all I have for you today. I really hope you enjoyed this reading, and if you did, let me know down below. I'm sending you all so much love and light. Have a beautiful and blessed week, my friends. Bye.